Hello, that's much better. Welcome to our live stream. We have a very fun lesson today. If you have accidentally stumbled across my account, I am English with Jen. I go live every single week and offer you conversation lessons. Each week is a new topic. Today, you've stumbled across it on a day that's kind of cool. We're going on safari. I was on safari. Sorry, I'm going to pour a little something to drink here. I was on safari in Botswana and in Uganda, and now I'm home and I want to share my adventures with you. So I hope that you have fun with me today. We have vocabulary. We're going to talk about a lot of animals. I have videos and photos. I want to get your input about what you know about different animals. And yeah, so I'm super excited about this live stream, and it's hot off the press. I will type that in our comments here, hot off the press. And that means that I just finished planning it. Hey, Michaela, darling. I'm happy to be back in Europe. I had a lovely time in Africa, but I'm very, very happy to be back here with all of you. So happy. So I'm going to get rid of this annoying banner going around. Just remember, hey, Yuki, darling, just remember that if you don't already follow my account, go ahead and do. Like this video, please. Hello, Mohammed. And yeah, because that helps show the algorithm that we exist here and that this is a cool place to be. I'm going to start our lesson off with a nice little poll question. Let me get this banner stopped. Doop. I'm working with, my iPad, my new one, and well, it was like 3 years old, but the newest one, and then I have my phone and I have my really ancient old one. So we're going to be juggling a lot today. I have not figured out a way to show videos using the streaming device, so I'm going to try to share with you a lot of videos, a lot of photos. It's going to be a very rich and I hope entertaining lesson. So get comfortable, and if you're not able to finish the entire live stream, I'm trying to clean my iPad here. If you're not able, hello, Aizu-san. If you're not able to finish it, you can always come back and another day, no problem. We're going to start off. Hello, Lorena. I have all my regulars here. That's so nice to have you all here. I think this is going to be a really, really nice lesson because I went on 15 game drives, which is where you sit in a car and you go on safari. In fact, let me ask you right quickly, who has been on safari? Who knows how it works? Would you like me to explain it a little bit? Can I anticipate with you like a certain weeks? I'm not sure what that means, dear. I don't know what that means. I'm going to be here now. If that's what you mean, I'm not going on vacation for a while. So should I explain what it's like to go on safari really quickly before we jump into our lesson, or should we jump into it? I wish I could offer a little poll here. So maybe explain more or less. Maybe if you could give me a little bit of feedback, then because I can tell you kind of how it works and then jump into the lesson for those of you who have never experienced it. You? I don't know. Maybe that means, I'm not sure. Should I talk more about it or less about it? Give me a little feedback and yeah. Participate. Participate. Can I participate with you like a certain weeks? So I don't know how, if you have planned 26 different items for today. Jump into the lesson. Okay, thank you. All right, so let's jump into the lesson. I'm not sure if I will add people. I wanted to, but I have so much that we might be here till next Christmas. So let's move on really quickly. Maybe I'll add people if I can, then I'll add you, Mohammed. Well, here is our poll question, our first one for today. All right. So what animal would you most like to spot on a safari? So spot meaning like see. A lion, a giraffe, elephant, leopard, or other. And if you answer other, then maybe you can tell me which animals are your favorite. animals in sort of a safari, in the savannah safari, I guess. So what can you tell me? What animals are you most interested in? Which ones would you like to see? And if you have been on safari, let me know. If you are watching the replay of this, then please let me know if you've been on safari. Share your experiences, anything that you know today. Hello, Juan. Hello, Juan Carlio. Hello. So welcome, everyone. We have our first poll question. What animal would you like to spot on a safari? Which one is the most exciting? Lion, giraffe, elephant, leopard, or something else? I don't know. I wonder how you did the black behind the name Lorena. Lorena. I don't know. Oh, maybe that's hers. I don't know. I'm confused. I think that's a private question. So for me, like every time you go on a game drive, that like when you first get there, they always ask, what is it that you hope to see? Because it is nature, right? And some animals are territorial, so you know around about where they are. But many animals are not. So sometimes they're here and another time they're somewhere way far away. So the driver, the ranger always asks what you would like to see. And for me, I don't really care so much about seeing a specific animal. I really like seeing how the animals interact. So I find it really interesting to see a group of elephants and how they behave towards each other. The same with giraffe and the same with young lions. Leopards are individuals. They love to live alone. But yeah, I like to see how the monkeys, how they interact with each other. But that's my thing. So yeah. So I would like to see lions. Okay, so we've got our first poll question. Hello, Alessio. Welcome to on board. And let me stop this. Okay, and then I have another poll right away as well. So just to kind of get a couple of vocabulary words so together here, let's talk about predator, prey, scavenger, nocturnal, and I have to look this how to say this one. I don't know. Let me grab my notes up. They're here. And diurnal, I think. Diurnal. Rhino and lion. You'd like to see giraffes in nature. Okay. So I have videos of all of these animals so far. Nothing unique here. I would like to see giraffes for their unique anatomy. Definitely. Okay. So let me move. So diurnal. Okay, so predator, prey, scavenger, nocturnal, and diurnal. And so we have that. Hold on, let me move down here. Number one, an animal that is active at night. Two, an animal that hunts other animals for food. Three, an animal that is hunted by predators. Four, an animal that eats dead animals. 5, an animal that is active during the day. All right, so what works best with one predator? And I think it's just nice for us to have a bit of a vocabulary builder, because I would like you to tell me later on things that you know about these animals, and it's nice to be able to use some proper vocabulary. So what can you tell me? What works best with number one, predator? Where are we going with this? And as a little side thing, if you want, name some animals up there, name some animals for each of these types. So if you can think of a predator, you can go ahead and write it. So number one, what do we got for number one? A predator. And it's a lot of silence, okay? So A is 2, hold on, let's see. An animal, exactly, guys. So an animal that hunts for food. Exactly. So a lion. Let's see, a leopard. These are animals that hunt for food. And letter B, this is a little backwards today. That's making me a little woohoo. But anyway, so B, prey. And prey sounds like this. Pray, but that is written like this. They are homophones, P-R-A-Y. Pray. No idea. Oh, good, Yuki, good new vocab. So pray is like this, sounds exactly the same as be, but pray is something different. So B is three animals that an animal that is hunted by predators. Exactly. So we're thinking of impalas. All of the antelope are totally prey. Let's see, maybe warthogs, all kinds of things that don't actively hunt are prey. Three, scavenger. So let's see, three, bee, an animal, oops, sorry, hold on. Let me see, bee and three, an animal that is, okay, hold on, I'm getting confused. I should have switched this. So number one, okay, I think I really messed this up. Hold on. Number one, this has gone completely backwards. So predator we've had, predator is, so A is two. B is three. And C, what do we have for C? Thank you, my dear, for keeping me on track here. An animal that eats dead animals, right? So that would be a hyena, a vulture. It was super interesting to see when we were on safari that the vultures, when they can sense when the predators are about to hunt, and because they are scavengers and they wait for something to be killed and then they go in and take whatever's left over, they fly around and they follow the predators. So if I were prey, I think at some point I would switch on my brain and think that, like, wait, hold on. Every time these birds show up, one of us dies. I think there would be a little alarm signal for me, but it's not. They don't really care. So I don't know. There are lots of things I don't really understand in the animal kingdom. That is one of them. So, okay. So we have that. And then we have D, nocturnal, which I'm sure is a Latin-based word. Nocturnal, what can you tell me which one works best with that? Yeah, what can you say? So D works best with nocturnal. And you have a nice little k, nocturnal, nocturnal. D1. So an animal, so nocturnal, one, an animal that is active at night. Exactly. So like lions are active at night. Many cats are active at night, for example. Hippopotamuses are active at night as well. So then, and last but not least, diurnal, a new word for me, diurnal. That is an animal that is active during the day. So a little vocabulary builder, moving on. And so I think it's kind of nice to give you a bit of an impression about where we were. I know more, I have to say, about Uganda, because we were there for longer and we had a driver who we were together with sometimes 8 hours a day, and I could ask him a million questions, which I did. And so I wanted to show a bit, because we went to 3 different locations for safari. We first were in Uganda, in Ishasha. And so I wanted to show you a bit here. Let me just make sure that I'm not messing myself up here. Yeah, I want to do the video. So just to kind of give you a little background on Uganda and what sort of my impressions, that is. Who's to say that it's completely right or wrong? I don't know. But this is kind of like when we were driving towards the area. Oh, let me see. Can you see that okay? Well, let me go down. And it's just dirt country roads. Let's see, country roads, and the occasional home. In Uganda, they have a president. I have to take a look really quickly. He's been in power since 1986, and his name is, hold on, I can never remember names, Museveni. And so he is now, I think, currently 81 years old. The people are a little nervous about who is going to replace him, because his son is one of the military leaders, and they're a little worried, and they have had relative peace since the 80s, the late 80s, and they're really trying to revive their, or to start actually, to jumpstart their tourism. So this has become a very big deal to them. So that's, I don't know, it was very interesting to be part of it. I just wanted to show you the area away from the animals, and then we ended up in the very dry area of the savannah. And what did I want to say? I wanted to tell you also that the people there are primarily Christian. They're either Catholic or Protestant. They also mix in their own tribal beliefs. There are over 56, imagine this, 56 ethnic groups with over 70 languages. And the official language is English and Swahili. And so, yes, we flew then. So now we're going to go to Kazinga, the Kazinga channel for a boat ride. And I want to ask you this. I'm going to show you animals on video, and you can tell me things that you know about them, and then we'll kind of explore that together. This is all out of whack for some reason. Hold on. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Where are my hippos? That is not what I wanted here. Something got weird here. Let me see really quickly if I can find this. I have some hippos. So whatever you can tell me about hippos, we did a boat cruise. We thought it was going to be a total tourist trap. It wasn't. It was actually really cool. Lots of green and dirt. Yeah, but beautiful. Super, super pretty. At the moment, I think you were very excited. I was. I love all of getting to see different cultures and learn about different people. I really enjoy it. So I'm trying to find my hippos. Anything that you know about hippopotamuses, please feel free to add. I will show you a nice video once I can find it right quickly. And then we will continue on. Yeah, and I can show you a slide as well with some more information. They're very strange creatures. And at the second camp that we were at, or actually at this camp where we were, they make the strangest noise. It kind of sounds like an evil laugh. They go, that's the sound they make. And they were outside our tented camp. We had sort of a camp where it had mesh, so you could see through outside. It wasn't glass, it wasn't solid wall. So all night long you could hear the different animals outside. I slept so horribly. It was so bad. Yeah, I'm a bit of a wimp. And so, yeah, I'm trying to find my little hippos here. Where are they? Anyway, and so yeah, they make a very strange sound, and I wanted to share with you because I don't know what happened. I have everything wonderfully organized here, and I am not a technology literate person here. Okay, I'm going to look up here again because maybe I'm just looking too quickly, and that's why things are strange. Alrighty. I don't know where that is. Let me see if I can find it on my phone. Does anybody know anything about hippos? Otherwise, I will pull up my slide so that we can learn some stuff together about them. And let's see. So hippopotamus, right? What do we know about hippos? So can you talk about your last trip? This is my last trip. So this is it. Let's see. So hippos are semi-aquatic animals, meaning that they sometimes live on land and they sometimes live in water. Big animal normally living in and outside of the water. Exactly. So a way to say that would be a semi-aquatic animal. And it was interesting because when we were in Ishasha, they were in the water a lot. I have one video. I have several videos that I want to share with you, but the first one I want to share with you is all of them in the water together because they float together, and they protect their babies. They don't have a lot of predators because they're just so big. One thing is they had one that was dead. This river cruise that we took. One had died and was ashore, and you have to be careful. I guess it's kind of like a whale. At some point they decay and then they explode. So our boat didn't go anywhere near it because I guess they were afraid it would explode. Hippo is an herbivore, exactly. They're herbivores, and they're active mostly at night. Semi-aquatic, aquatic meaning aqua, water, semi-water loving animals. Thank you for the question, Yuki. Exactly. And also, hippos can hold their breaths for up to 5 minutes. Once when we went on safari, not this one, it was a really boring safari. Sometimes that happens as well, where there's not much that happens. And so Peter was so bored, he was timing it, and like literally every 2 minutes, it would go down, stay underwater for 2 minutes, and then come up. And it kept doing that for like 10 minutes. It had such a great instinct for time somehow. I learned also that they have their ears and their nose and their eyes on the top of their heads so that they can float in the water and not have to have everything underwater all the time, that they can have a view of everything. So that's sort of a genetic thing that has happened, an evolutionary thing that has happened with them. I want to share with you this video of the hippos, and it's probably going to be very boring for you now that I'm like trying to find it. In the wild, they live up to 40 years and 50 years in captivity, but I don't think that's much of a nice life in captivity, to be quite honest. I'm not sure, but I don't know. Can't imagine that that's very nice. And so let me see if I can find this, and if I can't, then I'm going to get over it, I swear, at some point. All right, I don't know. If anybody wants to see the hippos later on, aha, I got it. So this is the video that I wanted to share with you. Let me put it here. So you can see all of them swimming. Let me get rid of that. You can see them all kind of huddled up together very closely. Unfortunately, they're not making any noises, otherwise I would share that with you. And they protect the babies in the middle, and they're all together. And in that same water, there were crocodiles. They are very dangerous. They are incredibly dangerous because they are fast. They are super fast, and they are massively aggressive. So if you encounter one, and so in fact, we had one. We were eating dinner, and then we had one that was in the body of water in front of our restaurant, and we wanted to go back to our cabin. And every time you go back to your cabin, you always have to have someone who guides you. You can't go on your own because it's open and it's wild, because of their strength, because of the size, the strength. They're very aggressive. They live in groups, exactly. And so we wanted to go back to our cabin, and all of a sudden this guy that we had been hearing the whole time going, he walked across the path where we needed to go. So we had to wait to be able to go so he wouldn't see us and charge us. That's what they do. If they go after you, it's called charging you. Charge. Oops, maybe I should spell it correctly and get rid of caps. Charge. They charge you. All right, let's move on to our next animal. And let's see where we're headed. I'm sorry that I don't know what happened with my thing here. Anyway, we are going to move on. Oh, and this wasn't, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. We're going to move on to our next slide, and we moved on to the area Ishasha. And this is where we went on safari. This was just a boat cruise. It was like 2 hours. We saw lots of beautiful birds, and we saw the hippos, tons of hippos, and you're really close to them in the water. And you have to be very careful. So like if they feel that a hippo is coming close, they turn on the engine because they are scared of that rumbling sound of the engine, and they back away. But if you were to go out there in a rowboat, I wouldn't recommend it. Crocodiles, these guys come up, they will flip you over, and you're in that crocodile infested water. No, thank you. So yeah. All right, so we went on to Ishasha, and this is an area, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little yellow star there, close to the border of Congo, which kind of freaked me out because this was also during the time when they were having a lot of issues in Congo. I need to check that actually. I feel kind of bad because I'm not caught up on that, what's going on there, but that was a big news story at the time. And the border from where we were was like 12 kilometers max. But at this camp, evidently, we could see, this was in Queen Victoria National, hold on, let me write this. Queen Elizabeth National Park. And we were in a little tiny concession, like a little part of that park. So it was very private. And the thing about this park is there were supposed to be tons of lions that climbed trees. We did not see one, not one. Yeah, spoiler alert, we didn't see any, but we did see a leopard in a tree. Let me share that picture because he's so beautiful. And yeah, we saw this beautiful leopard. Let me see. So here, I'll put this, and all of this photography was Peter. He's so good with his stuff. How gorgeous is that animal? And that's the cool thing. Like when you're on safari, you try to look for trees to see if you see a little striped tail hanging around. And then you could see his tail is still hanging around. And that's how you can tell where there is a leopard. Anyway, so we saw that guy, but we didn't see any of the lions in the trees. And the landscape was very dry. It's like what kind of you expect for safari. Dry, and it's because it is the dry season. And it's the Ishasha River, that's why it's called that runs through there. And that is a natural border between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Congo. And we saw lots of elephants. Ishasha Valley, this was this beautiful valley. I don't have a video, I think, of that. I think I forgot to get one from Peter. And I will have to find that maybe and share it. It's such a beautiful valley. And we were in the dry season. So we were there in February, which is the dry season. And when it rains a lot, then it's called the wet season. So we were in the dry season. Can you move a little to the side? Who, me? Should I move this way or should I move towards the map or away from the map? Hello, Hitoko. I like the Real World of Lion King movie. I have a question. Do tourists need to get vaccinated to go on safari? We did. We had to get vaccinated for dengue fever, and they asked us everywhere if we had that vaccination. We had to get rabies vaccines. Rabies, I'll write it. That is something that animals get, and they can pass it on. Oh, maybe it's just 1B. That's something that they can pass on to people, and you get foaming at the mouth, and it's animals, they run around in circles, so you have to get a lot of vaccinations. Hello, Renata, darling. Hippos are even vegetarian. They're very aggressive and very dangerous. Yuki, did you want me? I can only see half of the tablet. Thank you. Okay, then thank you. Maybe you can tell me, I will share this again, and tell me, Yuki, if it's okay. Maybe if I put it actually here, you will be able to see it better. Let me play. And here's our beautiful leopard. Maybe, let me see. Yeah, maybe that's better if I come closer because I have a very strange view on my display here. How's that look? Does that look pretty good for everyone? So that's the only cat that we saw in a tree. But that gives you also an idea of what the landscape looks like. It's very dry, not many trees. But then again, hello, Carmen. So everybody can see that. Can you give me heads up, please, as well? Perfect. Okay, good. Then we'll do that from now on. And I won't try to focus on the camera. Thank you for the heads up. Thank you. All right, let's move on now. And I'm going to share the first animal that we're going to see. We're going to move on to elephants. Okay, so let's see. Let me get rid of this so that I can share this with you. Oh, maybe I need to move that too. Sorry. All right, live and learn. So let's see. Let me find my elephants video here. And yeah. So these were some elephants that we encountered. Oh, actually, hold on, I want to do. I'll show you 2 videos because they're just so amazing, such amazing creatures. I hope you can see that okay? Like that maybe? Such amazing creatures. So anything that you know about elephants, feel free to share it in the comments. Such amazing creatures. Let me see. I'm going to show you another video of with elephants. And here they're really upset. They don't like that we're around at all. And it's so cute. They have little babies as well. Let me see if I can turn up the sound actually. Hold on. Here's the sound. We have the first, probably female elephant. So anything you know about elephants? Oh, she's mad. Go away from those babies. And look at this little guy. I love him, right? He's like, yeah, don't mess with us. Go away. That's so cool. And there's a little tiny guy. So sweet. I love how they back up and then they show you who's boss. Like, don't you come near us. Better not. So this was a really nice herd of elephants, a very nice group to stumble across. Let me see your comments. So let's see, amazing video, perfect. Wow, elephant has a great memory, exactly. When the whole herd of elephants are crossing the road, never ever cross. Have to wait. He's trying to protect his little child. Yes, it's so sweet. So they too have very few predators because they're so big and they protect their babies. They're big and they have a big brain too. And here are a couple of other little facts to share with you about elephants. Here we are. All right. So elephants, like some of you said, have great brains. They have great memories and they feel things like joy and grief. That last word, grief, is when you're sad. So when one of them dies, they really are sad. They're physically sad, and they mourn the loss of one of their own. One of our guides told us that when an elephant dies, usually they die because of old age. Also super interesting. When they eat, then they get a lot of the sand, and it sands down their molars, it sands down their teeth. So old elephants have massive problems trying to eat because their teeth cannot handle what they eat. And excuse me. And so usually when an elephant dies, it's not because of a predator, it's usually old age. And then the elephants will go back and visit that spot where the elephant died. They really mourn, they really experience grief. The elephants kill many people, but they are cool. Yeah, maybe the people kind of deserve it. I don't know. If you're in the way of an elephant, maybe not the best idea. That's a mean thing to say. I don't mean to sound mean. They use their trumpet. So this is, wait, hold on. Not a trumpet. I'm drawing a blank. Oh my goodness. Renata, help me, darling. What are their nose? Trunk. They use their trunk. Their long nose is called a trunk. They use it, as you saw in the video, to flick dirt on them. Usually that flicking dirt is meant to act as sort of like a sunscreen. But in this case, I think it was to kind of show I'm big and bad. And also they're herbivores. They eat up to 330 pounds, 150 kilos every day, constantly eating. Elephant moms, this is the longest pregnancy for a mammal, 22 months. No wonder she's so protective of that baby. And they can swim well. This is something I've never seen. And they can use their trunk as a snorkel. So use it up like as a snorkel to swim. The tusks are this part of the thing. of the elephant, and the trunk is its nose. Thank you, dear. Notice how the male elephants are always in the back protecting the female babies when moving across. Right. And something that I found interesting too, 22 months, I know, really? Ay, ay, ay. Is that you see and when you go on safari, you find tons of male elephants simply alone. And this happens in lots of different types of animals, not just elephants, where the males, if they're kind of aggressive, they get kicked out. They're gone. So if there's any sort of aggression going on from a male animal, especially in this case, in the elephant kingdom or the elephant world, then they will kick him out. He's gone and he's on his own. So you see a lot of male elephants walking around on their own. They get angry and destroy everything in their path. They also destroy a lot of trees. So sometimes you see where they try to protect the trees because they kill the trees, sharpening their tusks. Yeah, so that's an issue. Sharing, oh, about Qatar. Darling, today it's not about Qatar. Today is about safari. I see only one reel. I will share more experiences about that later, Mohammed, okay? But today is just safari. Lots and lots and lots about safari, about animals. Thank you for your interest, though. Do I have anything else I want to share? Okay, this is kind of cool. So we're still in Ishasha, we're in Uganda, where we had 3 game drives. And so try to guess what animal that skeleton belongs to. What do you think that is? This was a skeleton, a perfectly preserved skeleton that we found along the road. It looks so fake. I think it's so unreal. Like someone placed it there somehow. But yeah, what kind of animal do you think that this belongs to? What can you tell me? I got chased. Oh my gosh, you got chased by an elephant before. The teenage elephant's hormones raging. Are those to chase the car, sprayed the back window with mud from his trunk. Oh my goodness, how scary. We had that once where in Zimbabwe, where where there was a male elephant, and when they are in mast, I think it's called, when they want to mate, they emit this very strong smell. And this guy was so aggressive. He was really about to charge our car. We were reversing our car, and he was still coming at us. And when you see such a beast coming at you, Renata, I'm sure that was a very scary moment. A giraffe, you're funny. A snake, exactly. They use a variety of sounds also to communicate through vibrations in the ground, detecting via their sensitive feet. Yeah, definitely. And I think that we saw in the video, stomping on the ground, like, don't you come near us. I guess he thought we spoke the same language. Anyway, this picture is of a python snake. Okay, and I put this here because not on this safari, but on the very first safari that I went on in 2022, I think it was, first game drive, before we had gotten there, there was a python that grabbed an impala. An impala is one of these antelope types. They have an M on their butt. They call them the McDonald's of the savannah. And because there's so many of them, it's so easy. It's fast food for all of the predators. And so this python, we didn't see that part. We didn't see the impala get taken down, but we went back to the place where they had seen that happen. Hello to you, Alif, welcome. So yeah, so we went back to check it out, and this python ate the entire impala. And so it was, if anybody wants to see this video, send me a DM on Instagram. I will try to dig it out for you. It is not for the faint of heart. It was so disgusting to see this python stretch to be able to accommodate this enormous impala. But anyway, I digress, and we are moving on. Let's move on to eating habits. All right, quickly. And here we go. We have, again, I have this backwards. So vocabulary for eating habits. An herbivore, potato, carnivore, omnivore, insectivore, piscivore, I guess. I don't know how to pronounce that, actually. Let's look and see really quickly because that sounds very strange. And then you have the animals that are actually these things. Do they have black mambas in that area? They do. And I learned that a black mamba is actually not black at all. But when it opens its mouth, it's black inside. And so that's why they call it a black mamba. So yeah, I would have mixed that up. What is vor? I don't know. That's a good question. Some Latin thing, I think. I'm not sure. My Latin-based language friends here, help me out. I have no idea. But so let me look up the pronunciation really quickly of the last one because it sounds very strange. Let's see where we're headed here. Hold on. Pronunciation of piscivore, maybe. Piscivore. What are baboons? Okay. Baboons are these monkeys. They are everywhere. I will show you a picture of them in just 1 second. And they're everywhere. They're really annoying. And they're really, they have, and we say that, or we say, they say, who do safaris all the time, that there are the big five, that's lion, rhinoceros, elephant, leopard, and something, I can't remember, and buffalo. And then they have the ugly five. And one of the ugly five is a baboon. I will, hold on 1 second. Let me get this going here. Here we go. Here we go. YouTube, thank you for helping. Let's go.
Piscivore or piscivore.
So both, piscivore, piscivore. Okay, I think I'm going to say piscivore. It sounds more attractive. Everybody is saying that A is for an herbivore is giraffe. Yes, exactly. So they eat leaves, and this was really cool. On our safari, usually on safaris, you see giraffes eating the tops of trees, right? It's safer for them. They can see everything, and the trees taste delicious to them up there. We learned that the trees, though, are very intelligent, and when a giraffe starts to eat them, they send signals to the trees next to them that giraffes are eating them or that something is eating them. And then those trees produce a chemical so that when the giraffe goes to the next tree, it won't enjoy it. It tastes bitter or unattractive to them. Yeah, the tops of the trees. Exactly. But this was the cool thing. When we were then later on, in the Okavango, then they ate a lot on the ground because there were these yellow flowers there that they loved. So it was a very unusual sighting to see them eat with their necks headed down towards the ground. Did you see? I did see hyenas. I did. What a strange animal. Totally. I saw so many things. There are so many things I didn't include. They're a really strange animal. Very, very strange. Let me pull up our answers here. I'm getting so sidetracked. I'm so sorry. Yuki, the vor comes from the Latin word meaning to devour, to eat. Thank you very much. Thank you, Michaela. Locals warn me not to have the windows open because of the baboons. If you get inside the car, don't fight them. Let them take the food. Exactly. Everywhere you go, especially in South Africa, they say lock your doors, leave your windows up because the baboons will try to get in. And they're strong and they're mean. So yeah, you don't want to have that going on. So here, where are we? We have eating habits. Okay, so here we go. Herbivore, A, we have our first answers coming in. A is 4. So herbivore, yes, was giraffes. What about with B, carnivore? What about with carnivore? And I'm going to look for a picture of a baboon for you, Alessio. So B is 1, exactly, carnivore, lions. Yes, so they eat meat. So the first one, herbivore, herbs, think of plants, so herbal tea, that kind of thing. So they eat plants, they eat herbs. Speaking of which, every time that I've been on safari, I love the smell. And I finally figured out what it was. And it's this, they have an herb that grows there. It's the African sage, and it grows everywhere. I'll write the word. I don't know what the word is in your language. Green, it doesn't help. But maybe if you Google it in your own language, you'll know what I'm talking about. It grows in, I think, probably everywhere in the world, but it smells heavenly. I love it. And then they have another plant that looks like it's very prickly, like it's going to hurt if you touch it. It looks thorny, but actually it smells like turpentine. It smells really interesting. So those two mixed with other things smell heavenly. Giraffes have very long tongues to help them reach the leaves in between the thorns of the, I don't know how to say that tree. Acacia tree. I'm not sure, but I know what you mean. I just don't know how to say it. Exactly. All right. So yes, exactly. One is B. So three, sorry, C, omnivore. What is an omnivore? Which one works best with omnivore? And baboon. Sorry, I wanted to look for a photo for you, Alessia. Excuse me. We had a funny encounter with a baboon. So exactly, is a baboon. So they eat meat, they eat like smaller mammals, and they eat fruits and plants and stuff like that. So let me find my baboon thing here. Okay, let me see. I just have to make sure Peter's not in it, because he's kind of protective of that. Let me just see. Okay, so, well, you don't really see its face. So when we were driving to our camp, I think you can see that maybe better like that. Is that going to be better like that? Then this guy popped up on our car when we were going to our first camp. Let me see if I can find a video. That's not really. This is a baboon. That's your classic baboon. He's one of the 5 uglies. All right. And so then an insectivore, I think, is pretty easy. Let's see. Hold on. Let me move on to my answers here, because I always draw a blank when I'm put on the spot. So an insectivore, which one works best with insectivore? So what can you tell me? And I think we all know what a bat is. Since 2020, we all know, don't we? So what is an insectivore? What can you tell me is an insectivore? Thank you, Alessio. So an insectivore is, yes, sorry, I gave the answer away. And last but not least, a piscivore, a piscivore is then, why would I say an eagle? Because I think they also eat more than just fish. So anyway, I don't know. Eagles eat fish. Eagles eat also mice and all kinds of other things. Monkey kind. The monkey is it's a kind of monkey. A baboon is a type of monkey. Exactly. Okay, so then let's move on, and I'm gonna show you a water buffalo, and you can tell me anything that you know about water buffalo. Or buffalo, that is actually. Let's see. So that guy, I love this picture because he's kind of like doing a supermodel thing. He's like, looking over his shoulder, giving kind of like the side eye, but like in a sexy side eye. So buffaloes have great memories. They even remember when the predators that have tried to attack them before. They stick together, although you do find a lot of single males. Again, this is another type of animal where the males kind of get kicked out at some point. They're plant eaters. They eat up to 66 pounds of grass every day. Tough animals and fast. What else do you know about them? Photogenic. It's really photogenic, isn't it? Yeah, it's just like kind of going, little flirty pose here. I have to like learn some moves from her somehow. Yeah. Anybody else know anything about buffaloes? Buffalo is one of the big 5, including lions, elephants, leopards, and that. So big 5. These were the ones, and the Big Five actually came about because when the first Europeans were there, they would go to Africa, they would go on safari, and they would try to kill these animals. And these were the Big Five to like say, I'm a man, or whatever it is that they felt that it meant. And so nowadays, you know, we still talk about the Big Five, but it's more like to get photographs of them and to not kill them. Do buffaloes do the annual migration same as the wildebeest? I don't know. Let's ask the bot and see. I have no idea. Good question. So let's see. Do buffalo? It does look like a wild cow. Yeah, I'm sure it's in the cow family somehow, for sure. Buffalo do an annual migration. I would think so. I would think so. Let's guess yes. I'm going to guess yes. Yes. Well, American bison do. What about in Africa? Live near water. Yeah, and you find them also near the land, but they also coat themselves in mud. This guy, you can see he has some sort of gray shadow on his face. So they also kind of use that as sun protection. So that's kind of an interesting thing about them. What about African ones? Looking for the answer here. African buffalo do migrate, but their movements are more localized and dependent on water availability. Yeah. Rather than long seasonal migrations like wildebeest. So not so much like wildebeest, they do migrate, but the amount of space that they go around is much smaller. Okay, so let's see where we're headed to next, which animal we will discover together. Let's see. Oh, I love this. This monkey is so cool. Okay, I'm going to show you a picture of this guy, and maybe you can tell me what you know about him. I had never seen anything like it. So let me show you. Hold on. Let me see. I hope that this get it going here. Here we go. Now this guy is so funny. So look at this. Let me get this going. So the little black and white guy there, can you see him? Look at this thing. Have you ever seen a monkey like this? It's called the black and white colobus. Colobus. Look at him. And it was so funny because like he hopped down off the tree, and then I wanted to add music to him. So then he hops and he stops, he looks around, and then he signals to his friend, hey, you can come. So it's like I wanted to add like dun 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 dun, like do 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 kind of music. There's some elephants for you. This was at our lodge, so we had those monkeys, the black and white colobus, and we also had the vervet monkeys, and these guys were playing across the way. And one of them swam over. Well, walked over. It was pretty shallow. Let me play this for you again, maybe, so you can see. I hope you can see it. Fashionista monkey, right? Kind of 80s, I thought. Sort of. I thought it was kind of fun. Anyway, but like if you add music to this, if you add some sort of spy music, I just think that works so perfectly. Dun 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 doo 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 doo. Anyway, my brain. Anyway, so moving on. Oh, well, I can tell you a couple of things about this crazy monkey. This monkey, hold on. The black and white colobus monkeys eat mainly leaves, and they have a special stomach that makes it easy for them to digest plants. The other monkeys, now I don't know if this is true because I've heard from one guide that it's true, from one guide that it's not, but sometimes monkeys will eat the berries off of trees and it makes them drunk. And then they kind of get all wonky, like they're drunk. But I don't know if that's true or not. Perfect music, right? You know, not my singing, but you know. Anyway, and those monkeys, the black and white colobus monkeys, they have no thumbs. So unlike other monkeys, they only have a small little bump instead of a full thumb, which helps them to swing easily through the trees. They're amazing jumpers. They can leap over 15 meters. And since their food is easy to find and digest, they spend the most of their day resting and socializing. So great life for our fashionista, thank you, Yuki, monkey, the black and white colobus. So, no, sorry, Guzera. Guzera, do you know this monkey? I had never seen this before. It's called Teresa, or Gureza. So yeah, I had never seen this monkey. I thought it was so cool. Then at the same, in Ishasha, we also saw hippos. I had never seen so many hippos that were beached on the side. This is incredible. It's a little bit hard to see, but we had all of these hippos here. You can see through here. I just wanted to share an extra view of hippos. I know we've already covered them, but all in the back there were probably 80 hippos. And it had been kind of a cold day. And so when the sun came out, they rested out there to warm up. Yeah, and this is the river, the Ishasha River. This is the border between Congo and Uganda. So I thought that was kind of interesting to see so many of them just beached up there. So like sitting up there and collecting the sun. All right, let's see, where are we headed to next? Okay, and then we left Ishasha. I wanted to show you the plane ride really quickly because we flew in this little tiny plane, which I hate flying, believe it or not. It's like, for me, it makes me sick. Hello, Karina, dear. I saw a pair of Hoyos making love in the San Diego Zoo. So that we flew on this little tiny plane. Completely, oh, hippos, a couple of hippos. Yeah, it looks painful, right? So this tiny little plane, tons of people, mostly Americans. That was kind of funny. And this was our flight. It was just so incredibly beautiful. I posted this as a story, or one of these as a story. But it was just so beautiful. It was breathtaking. This country is so incredible. It's really, really pretty. I don't know if I have one more photo to share with you. This was another view from the plane, but Uganda, I loved very much. I don't know anything about the north. I only know central and now the western side. Incredible. I mean, how amazing is that? It was so beautiful. Anyway, so now after that, we went to Cape Town. We were there for about 3 weeks. And then we went to Botswana. So let me find that. And before we head to Botswana, I thought it would be nice to kind of go over a little bit of some different landscape features to get a little bit more vocab in. And let's see where we are. Doop, there. All right. So we have savanna. We have watering hole. I still have this backwards. I don't know why I have this backwards today. I always ask ChatGPT to like put these things together for me, and then I edit it, but I didn't notice that things were not right. So anyway, my apologies. It makes things very confusing. For some reason, my brain is like, no, don't do this. Anyway, we have savanna, watering hole, riverbank, valley, and a delta, because when we flew to Botswana, then it was a totally different landscape, a different terrain, because it has a delta, Okavango Delta. Number one, a place where animals gather to drink water. 2, a grassy plain with scattered trees. 3, a wetland area where river splits into smaller channels before reaching a larger body of water. 4, a low area between hills or mountains. And 5, the land alongside a river. So which works best with a savanna? For me, I guess it's all savanna in that area, but what classically stuck out in my head as savanna was what we saw in Ishasha. So maybe you can, Think of it from that. Find the answer from there. The Savannah. What can you tell me about that? And it's also a pretty name. Sometimes people in the States name their girls Savannah. What can you tell me? What works best with Savannah, with a Savannah? So A2, exactly. So A2, a grassy plain with scattered trees. So what we saw when we were in Ishasha was a lot of long grass, kind of dry grass because it was the dry season. And so dry grass, and then, not many trees, a tree here, and then not one for a long time. And then sometimes a scattered trees. Exactly. All right. So, and scattered, I hope everybody gets that. Scattered is when something is not, it's here and then it's there and then it's there. It's sort of the opposite of having something that's dense, where it's like this everywhere. This is just sort of here and there and there and there. Sometimes my brain is scattered. It's do, 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 do. That can be a way to use that word as well. A watering hole. Which word or which definition works best with a watering hole? This should be kind of easy, I think. A watering hole. What can you tell me? So B is one. So a place where animals gather to drink water. Exactly. So this is where they go to drink water. It also might be where hippos bathe, where crocodiles live for the majority of the time. Exactly. So riverbank. What can you tell me? What works best with riverbank? So C, which one works best with that? Kind of easy too, I think. A little bit. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. A riverbank. So 5, exactly. So the land alongside a river. So we're the bank of the river bank. Same, same. D, a valley. What works best with valley? What can you tell me? D is 4, okay, a low area between hills or mountains. Exactly. I'm really so bummed that I didn't put into my whole program here the elephants going down into the valley. I have to, it's so beautiful. Anyway, I will try to find that. Never camp by the watering hole. I don't even want to get out of a car near the watering hole. No, thank you. And last but not least, a delta is whatever one we didn't use. So I tried a wetland area where a river splits into smaller channels before reaching a larger body of water. That's a very long-winded answer, and I will have a much better answer now. So yes, let me pull up a slide with the Okavango Delta to be able to explain that a little better, because yeah, this is where we went next. This is Botswana. And that little red dot that you see there, that itty bitty tiny red dot, that's where we went. And so to explain this to myself, because for me, lots of these geography types of things and rivers and whatnot, I have no idea. I like to speak and learn and that kind of thing. And that is what we're here to do. But I am not an encyclopedia. So to kind of explain what the delta is, the water, and to explain this area here a little bit better. The water in the Okavango, and you can read along with me if you like, the water in the Okavango River comes from the Angolan highlands in Angola. And Angola, just for those of you who are like me, who are geographically challenged, Angola happens to be, there's Botswana, and if you go up north and go east, a little up north and east, that's Angola. So the water starts flowing from there, okay? Where several small rivers and streams gather to form the Okavango River. This region receives a lot of rainfall, which feeds the rivers as it flows southward. The river starts its journey in Angola and travels through Namibia, and finally spreads into the Okavango Delta in Botswana. The water that starts in Angola, get this, it takes about 6 months for it to reach the delta in Botswana, where it creates the lush wetland that supports a wild range of wildlife. And the thing that we learned there is because 2 weeks before we came, or a week before we came, for 2 weeks, it rained cats and dogs in Botswana. And so there was already some water there. And evidently, it rained at the same time a lot in Angola. So the locals in Botswana are very excited about that because that means that for the first time in several years, they will have a nice flow of water coming into their area. So if you want to go to Botswana in high season and pay a lot of money, then this is the year to do it because it's going to be a very good year to see lots of wildlife and to see the area the way it normally is when there's not issues going on with drought. Remember, drought is the word that we use for when there's not enough money. Drought. And the opposite, I will put that as well, is flood. So this year there will be no drought. It will be beautiful. All right, so just wanted to kind of give you an idea where on earth we were. We flew into Malm, and then we took a very small plane again to our area, and also to kind of give you a couple of vocab words that work well with a safari experience. So when you go on safari, you have a game drive, you have a tracker, you have a ranger, you can do a bushwalk, and a game reserve. So these are classic words that we use when we have an experience in the safari. There is not enough water. This year, exactly, when there's a drought, there's not enough water. This year, they expect, I think around in June or so, is when, I think it's June. Let me see if I have any information. I'm not sure. Maybe it's a little bit earlier, maybe May, June. That's when the water from Angola will come in, and they think it's going to be a ton of water. It's going to be a really good season for them. So let me read the answers here, excuse me. 1, a protective area where wild animals live. 2, a trained guide who leads safari tours. 3, a guided trip to see wildlife in a safari vehicle. 4, a guided walk through the wilderness to observe nature. 5, a person who follows animal footprints and signs to find wildlife. I guess they are also happy because rain equals termites. Yes, maybe. I guess that's true, right? So a game drive. What is a game drive? Which one works best with a game drive? What can you tell me? That we can match these words up. I think it's nice to be able to add a little bit more vocabulary to this. So yeah, anyway. Game drive, what can you tell me? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And I will make sure that never happens again. This throws me so off, I don't know why. That this is sort of backwards here, that we have anyway. So which one works best? Okay, thank you, Karina. So A is for a game drive, a guided walk. Nice try, nice try. There's another one that works a little bit better for that. The walk there is what kills that. So good try. Another guess, what can you tell me? A game drive. The walk part of that one is, yeah. So the one that works a little bit better, a game drive is, let's see, 3, a guided trip to see wildlife in a safari vehicle. I find the wording a little bit strange too, but you've got drive, think of car. So yeah, so A is 3, exactly. So a guided trip to see wildlife in a safari vehicle. What is number 2? A tracker. What is a tracker? Number 2, a tracker. And this is also a little bit, I don't know if you know this vocabulary word, but if you know this word as something else, like part of this word, then it's kind of easy. So B is 5, a person who follows animal footprints and signs to find wildlife. Exactly. Yeah. So, and when you talk about footprints, you can also say tracks, the tracks of the bird, the footprints. I don't know if it's really a foot, but you can talk about the tracks. You can talk about the footprints. in the same. Exactly. Thank you, Alessio. Exactly. C, arranger. Which works best with arranger? What can you tell me? What, arranger, what can you tell me? We're almost in Botswana, I swear. Arranger, true hacking? I'm not sure. So C2, a trained guide who leads safari tours. Exactly. So this is the individual that drives the truck and he leads everyone. He's very knowledgeable. We had an amazing tracker ranger, excuse me, ranger when we were in Botswana. He knew everything. These guys know everything. They are so educated. It's unbelievable. And so it was really nice. All right, and then D, now we have this one, a bushwalk. So what can you tell me? With a bushwalk, we've had so far, hold on, I can say, oops. We've had E, we've had 1, we've had 3, we've had 4. So what can you tell me? So we still, oh, sorry, maybe I messed that up. A bushwalk. A bushwalk is when you walk through and you do a guided tour. I've done that only once or twice. The first time I went on safari in 2022, and I find it kind of scary, to be quite honest, because you're out there, when you're in a car, it's one thing, but it's another thing, like you don't know what you're going to encounter. You know, it's not like these guys all have GPS systems on them and they're like, do, 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 and you see everything that's there. You know, there could be a python under a bush. Or when we went on our first walking safari, we stumbled across giraffe. You know, I mean, I don't know, do I really want to be out of a car with giraffe? And we came across a tree that had fresh scratch marks on it, where lions had used that tree to strengthen their claws. Scary. I don't know. We didn't do it this time. I'm glad we didn't. And last but not least, game drive. This is a guided trip. Oh, maybe I've screwed something up here. A guided trip to see a game. Oh, sorry, a game reserve, excuse me, is a protected area where wild animals live. And for the most part, what I have understood is the majority of the places that we go to, they don't kill. They try not to at all. Sometimes they do something where they cull, C-U-L-L, which is where there's a period when there is too much of a particular animal. Maybe they can get killed. In Zimbabwe, not at all. They have an overpopulation of elephants. They are killing all the trees, but they're just letting nature do what nature does. In Botswana, in one area where we were, then they kind of try to make sure that the numbers don't get too crazy. So, all right, let's move on to Botswana, which I had promised in the last one, right? So let me see where we're headed. Hold on. Let me see if I have a nice video for you. Okay, Safari. I should have shown you the video from the thing. Okay, so let's see. Another poll question real quick, and then we're moving on to some more animals. Okay, so which safari activity do you think sounds the most exciting? Is it A, game drive, B, bushwalk, C, wildlife photography, or D, tracking the animals maybe yourself, like trying to figure out where the animals are going? They can look at the print of an animal in the sand. They can tell A, what kind of animal it is, how old the print is, which direction it's going, whether it's male or female. They can see so much in just one footprint. If you could do any of these, which one would you want to do? Game drive, bushwalk, wildlife photography, or animal tracking? Which one do you think sounds fun? So Yuki, you said D, tracking animals. Ooh, oh, we got a lot of adventurers here. Track the animals, find where they are. Wildlife photography. I always let Peter do it. That's why we have nice pictures and videos. I'm like this when I try to film things, and he's always like, he has like this nice ending to things. So I let him do it and steal them. Uh, yeah. Anybody else? Alicia, what would you do? I don't know if you're around right now, if you've had to go back to work. But if not, then yeah, then we're going to move on to the two locations in Botswana. We were in two different places in Botswana. I've grouped it all together because it's too confusing. A, game drive. C, wildlife photography. My favorite thing to do during winter around this is my favorite thing. Oh, wait, hold on. Is D, tracking animals? Because you see the footprints in the snow, I guess. Yes. So sand, snow, same. Let's see. So we went to a place that has a click sound because in the language that the people, I don't know where they were from. There were lots of different tribes again in Botswana, but there's a click sound I can't do. So I'm going to not say this correctly. Sarana and in Sandiba. These were the two locations that we were. And let me show you this cute little video with some lions. We're moving on to lions. Game drive is your favorite. I find a lot of animal footprints in the snow. What kind of footprints do you find? Do you have anything wild in that area as well? Okay, so I'm going to show you some lions. So I have, actually, I think I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to do one lion now and then one lion at the end, I think. Here we go. Let's see if you can see that. Hold on, let me put this like this. Well, no, you can't see that. Aizo-san, you would like to do track animals. You can track animals by the poop. Yes, you can. That's true. By looking at the poop, absolutely. How fresh it is and all of that. Let me try to make this go back. Okay, so look at this beautiful lioness. A female lion is called a lioness. I hope y'all can see her okay. She's so beautiful. And this was in the morning. So they hunt a lot as the sun goes down and at night or early in the morning. So it was still cool. A lot of different kinds, okay, of animals you find in the snow. Oops, I don't know what that is. So this is this beautiful lady here, and we watched her. And it's like when you've gone on safari a bunch of times, it's more interesting to stick with one animal and just to kind of follow it. But we were in a car with other people, so we couldn't just be like, just stay there. And here's Peter with his pretty photography here, or videography. Isn't that gorgeous? So beautiful. So this was very early in the morning, and she was sitting out there, and we found her later on. And here her belly wasn't really full, and later on, like maybe 3 hours later, we saw her again and her belly was full. So she had made a kill, but we missed that, unfortunately. Anyway, so that's our little lion, and maybe you can tell me anything that you know about lions. Whatever you can tell me about lions, go for it. Let's hear what you have to say. Anything you can tell me. What do you know? Depending on how big the poop is, then decide if it's worth it to continue, right? And the kind, if it's like some sort of impala poop, whatever. So let's see. So what can you tell me about lions? Anything that you think of, anything that you know? Otherwise, I will share a slide with you that I prepared to explain a little bit more about lions. Let's see. Anything that you know. This is what I have to share with you. Give you a second to comment here. They are wild animals, right? Is it safe to go so close to them like that? It's the strangest thing. Like these animals of prey, they somehow have massive respect for this car. Hey, Carmen, darling. Welcome. So they have massive respect for the cars. If we were to get out of the car, we would be eaten. No, then it would be like, oh, it's you, and they would have no problem. But it's not that they attack humans because they want to attack humans, but if they feel confronted, then they will attack you. So you shouldn't get out of the car. Lions prefer to sit in higher ground and are on rocks. Yes, and so yeah, don't get out of the car. But we do get out of the car. That's the crazy thing too, is in safaris, when you go on safari twice a day. So they wake you up at 5 a.m., you have breakfast at 5:30, and you hit the road then at 6. And then you're out until like 10:30 or 11, depending on where you are and what you see. Then you have a break in between. And then at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 4:30, you go out again, and then you're out until like 8, 8:30, 9. So you have these 2 chunks of time during the day, because during the middle of the day at this time of the year, it's too hot for the animals. They all kind of like, go home. They're like, this is enough. It's all too hot for them. And so they're active during the early morning and active as the evening starts. So those are the 2 times of the day that you go on safari. But you do, for each of these visits, this is what I wanted to say, is for each of these times, you have like a little morning breakfast where they make it all nice and pretty, and you get to have, coffee or whatever you want, and little snacks. And then in the evening, you have a sundowner, and you have little snacks again. So I've gained so much weight. Oh my gosh. But yeah, working on that. And so you get out of the car. They prepare this meal outside of the car, and I'm going to show you something where it was really crazy in a minute. So lions are big cats to me. Lions prefer to sit in higher ground. Male lions with darker manes, exactly. So the hair around the head, Super Macella, is a mane, and often stronger and more attractive to females. So cars are the barrier. Exactly. Cars are the barrier. Cars are the way to go on safari. My opinion. It scares me. Anyway, so they're called the king of the jungle. Like you even have in the jungle, the mighty jungle. The lion does not sleep tonight because the lion does not live in the jungle. The song has brainwashed me to think they lived in the jungle. They don't. They live in the savannah. Anyway, and they live in savannas and grasslands. They live in groups. But again, this is another situation with animals where when the males get old enough, they get kicked out because they're too aggressive. We saw 2 lions mating. This is crazy. Hi, Gracie, darling. Hello, sweetie. We saw 2 males. We saw two lions mating. This is super interesting because the male and the female lion, they separate themselves, and for 4 days they have intercourse every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes. So we found them, and it lasts, this whole thing lasts like 6 seconds. So every 15 minutes for 6 seconds. And they do this for 4 days. And then if the male lion is too tired at the end, then he will allow his brother to come in for the last remaining time. It's amazing. And I think it's so difficult for the female lion to become pregnant that's how this works. But I think it's an incredible sign of how Mother Nature keeps things in balance. Because imagine if a lion could produce other lions very easily, everything would be eaten up in a matter of seconds. So you don't have such a huge lion population because Mother Nature is smart and is like, yeah, that's not going to work here. So I think that's an interesting thing. It was an interesting thing to see. It looks painful. Anyway, I have a video of it, but yeah, I'm not going to share that today. Lions can run up to 50 miles per hour. They hunt at night or early morning, as I said. Male lions, when they turn 2 or 3, you need to get out of here. And so he tries to then later on to battle the alpha, the dominant male. And at some point, that male will be too old to be able to have his ladies around him, and he will lose. And then that other one will be able to either start their own pride of lions or be able to, to be part of that one again. So question, I have a little, the female lion can marry many of the male lions, she can mate, yes. And often this is so interesting too. So female lions on their ears, if you see their ears, a lot of times they have like little marks in them, like kind of little parts of it that are missing. And that's because when the male lion mates with a female lion, he bites her ears. So he can bite like little chunks off. Did you watch Bridget Jones? There is a scene where she's really depressed and watches two lions mate. No, Irma, that sounds hilarious though. Oh gosh, that sounds really funny. I have to Google that. That sounds funny. Okay, Banner, for you, little trivia question. Let me get rid of my slide here so it doesn't get all cluttered. Here we go. Okay, what do you think lions' success rate is when it comes to hunting? So give me a percentage. Are they 100% successful when they go out to hunt, or are they like 10% or 5%? How successful do you think a lion actually is when it goes out to hunt? What do you think? What can you tell me? Which percentage would you give a lion on how successful they are? I'm not saying anything. I give everything away. I just want everybody to know everything right away. 20%. Okay, Yuki's going with 20. Any other guesses? What can you tell me? 30. All right. What else? So we've got a 20, we've got a 30. Any other guess? 50. All right. So 80, 50, 40, 30. Okay. So for those of you, they have a 20 to 30% success rate when hunting. That means that only about 1 in 4 or 5 hunts results in a kill, which for me, that sounds shockingly low. I thought it would be like 75% or something like that. And female lions usually hunt in teams to increase their chances. We saw that actually when we were in Zimbabwe. That was the first, I think the only kill I've ever seen. It was horrible for me because the female lions, when they know there's a male lion around, then they know that when the male lion comes, he'll just take whatever they've killed. So when they kill an animal, then they kill it, and they strangle an animal because they don't want other animals around to hear, that they don't want the scavengers to hear. And so they usually do it in that kind of way. And in this case, they killed it, and it took forever because they just tried to eat very quickly, because then the male lion came in. We saw that too, and he took the rest. So it was brutal. It depends on the dam. So the female lions are intelligent, very. They are. Lion when hunting fear hyenas. Exactly. Because they're relentless. They'll just keep going for things. And so they try to be quiet about it. So they usually try to suffocate their prey. One last video of some male lions. I just thought they looked so beautiful. So these were 2 males. I think they're brothers, and they got kicked out of the pride because they got too old. And so now they're on their own for a while. Not sure how long that will be, but just beautiful. Oh, sorry, hold on. I'm sending it to people. I don't know why. Let's see. Here are beautiful male lions. Thanks to Peter for taking this video. To give him lots of photo credits here. So there's one in the front, and then you can see another one in the back. Is that working? Oh, okay, well, that was it. You just see a little bit the guy going down in the back. Anyway, so I just thought they were pretty and wanted to share them. we'll move on to the next animal. We have only a couple more animals to cover. And let's see. So now we're heading on to zebras. Did you take haircut? Lionate your hair. I just realized. Oh, I just have a ponytail. That's all. I didn't get a haircut. All right, so zebras. I'm going to show you some zebras, and you can please tell me anything that you know about zebras, doing it the same way that we did before. Anything that you can tell me about zebras. And the British say zebra. The Americans say zebras. Hold on. Let me get this going. Whoop. So here we go. It's a little fast in the beginning, but then it will slow down and you'll get to see them better. Awesome experience. Yes, 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 yes. So there, I love zebras. I find them so magical. I love them. Such incredible creatures. I could watch these guys all day. Aren't they incredible? Anything you know about them, share it with me. So beautiful. And I think that's some of my African sage that I love so much. Zebra are like fingerprints that are all different. Exactly. Anybody else know anything? I will share what I learned. Oh, maybe I think I don't have slides for this. Some of these last ones, I ran out of time. Zebras are wild horses. Okay, so some of these I don't have slides. Very stylish. Again, right? All of these safari animals are so stylish, right, Yuki? Beautiful. So here's what I've learned. Like Renata said, unique stripes, no two are the same, kind of like a snowflake. They each have their individual pattern. What I think is so beautiful is how their stripes go up into the mane here of their hair. It's so incredible how the stripe carries on to the hair on their neck. Isn't that gorgeous? So incredible. What else can we say? They're great runners. They can run up to 65 kilometers an hour. This is really crazy. They have excellent eyesight. So they can almost see 360 degrees around them, helping them to spot danger from far away. And this was also interesting. Zebras are black and white with stripes or white and black with stripes. That sounds like a philosophical question. That sounds very philosophical. Zebras live in groups called harems, which usually consist of one male and several females. This happens so often in nature. They are white and black or black and white, exactly. 70, what does 70 mean? They communicate with each other through various sounds, snorting and even stomping their hoofs. Zebras were also one of the animals, as well as bison, where you would find like one of these guys mixed together with impala, where they sort of work together to protect each other. Each one has a different sense, and they can sense the different danger around them. So I think that's pretty interesting. Zebra is prey. A prey is prey for lions. Exactly. So it's definitely prey. And I think of this as like this, like the prey need to pray because they might get eaten. All right. Next question. When I visited Mexico, I saw some donkey painted just like a zebra. It made up a fake zebra. Oh, that sounds pitiful. That sounds so sad. That poor donkey. Let's see. So this is a question for you. Here we go. What does it mean for a species to be endangered? And can you think of any safari animals that are currently endangered? Because I am sharing with you, I love this next one. So what does it mean to be endangered as a species? And can you think of any safari animals that are currently endangered? What can you tell me? And then I'm going to show you an endangered animal that we saw that is so amazing. I have to turn the sound up for this. Let me get it going for us. So hippos, okay. No two zebras have identical stripe patterns, making each one unique. Exactly, just like snowflakes. Exactly. And Mohammed, I think you meant 70% for the kill rate for. I think that's what you mean. A leviathan. I don't know what that is. Hello, Lazar. Let me look up what that is because I have no idea what that is. No idea. I've never heard of that. Let me look it up real quick while everybody else is answering. Anything that you can think of, any animal that is endangered, threatened by extinction. Exactly. We might not have it anymore. Like woolly mammoths are extinct, but they were endangered. Orangutan, good. Leviathan. This is a mystical creature, I think. It's like is that a dragon of sorts, I think? Is that what you mean, Lazar? I'm not sure. Let's see. Oso de Antillos in Peru. Panda in China. I have to look up Oso de Antillos. I'll look that up. And population at risk of dying out. Exactly. Okay, Lazar, that's an interesting answer. All right, so let's see. Oso de, here we go. Oh, he looks like a bear. Let me find some images. A type of bear. Oh my gosh, is that the cutest thing ever? Look at his face. Let me go there. I think that's better. Is that the cutest thing ever? He's in danger. He's endangered. Oh, poor thing. Manatees in Florida. All right, I'm going to look at manatees because I'm drawing a blank really quickly what a manatee is. Is that some sort of seal? Manatee. Yeah, or no, it looks kind of sealy. Looks. Okay, hold on. Let me find a good picture so we can see him nicely. Sort of dolphin-y, seal-y kind of guy, right? It is mentioned in the Bible in Revelation. Okay. Thank you, Lazar. Rhinos, exactly. And also, what is endangered, I had never heard of this until I went on safari for the first time, but evidently, because I've seen it twice, there are actually wild dogs. Gorillas, yes, every zebra has its own line on it. It's different from each other, exactly. So there are actually wild dogs that run around the savannah. And we came across them, and they are so amazing. Did you know about this? Or not for sure you did. I know you've done a lot of safaris. You've gone on a lot of them. But I cannot wait to share that. They're so precious. I think the video I have, the way that it works, okay. So I've only seen them twice in the afternoon. So they're all asleep, okay? And they live, of course, in a big community, in a pack. I don't know what that is. I will look it up in a minute. But the wild dogs, they live in a pack and they sleep in the afternoon. So like we said, that, a lot of animals go to sleep, they rest, they punch out, I'm off work now, I'm going to go and sleep now. And then around early evening, like around when the sun starts to set, a little bit before that, one of the animals, one of the wild dogs wakes up, decides it's hungry, and then gets everybody up, and they make these adorable little chirping sounds. All right, the word chirping, like a bird makes a chirping sound as well, and wake everybody up, and then they greet each other and sniff each other and give each other little kisses. Are wild dogs related to dingoes in Australia? I have no idea. I will look that up in a minute as well. They look just like hyenas. I think they look very similar to hyenas. Peter says I'm crazy, but hyenas, the back is a little bit more sort of arched or slanted. Wild dogs are more like this. The back of a hyena is more like this. Hyenas, I think, have like more roundy ears, and wild dogs are more pointed. And hyenas have spots, and wild dogs have more patches of color. I hope that helps. But from a distance, for me, they look the same. Bird whispering, yeah, like little. I'll share the video. Oops, I've gone back to 2014. Let me find our videos for today. Hold on. Let me find my little wild dogs. And I have a crazy story here. Oh my gosh. So hold on. So wild dogs, let me go back. Hold on. Make sure the volume is up. So these are them running around, all excited. Let's go. Let's go hunt. Wake up, everybody. Let's go. Can you hear that noise? Okay, let's get up. Let's go. Downward facing dog. Another one. Okay, so these guys are endangered for two reasons. So, because I was always curious. First reason is because they will often go to farm areas and kill livestock, and then the farmers kill them. That's one reason. And the other reason is sometimes when they come in contact with humans, they come in contact with human dogs. And some of the dogs in these areas have rabies. We talked about it earlier. That's this disease that can be passed from animal to human, where it can kill a human. It kills also animals as well, makes you have a foamy mouth. And in this case, when a dog has rabies, they run around in a circle. It really messes with the brain. And so they can contract that. And because the wild dogs, they feed each other. They're very communal. And if one of them is hurt or is watching after their young, after their pups, then they will come back, and the food they've eaten, they will regurgitate it. I'll write this word. And then they will eat this, and they can pass on the disease. So you can wipe out an entire community of wild dogs just by one wild dog having this, because they share everything. Regurgitate is a way to say throw up. Regurgitate. I think that's the way you spell it. I hope. Let me see. I'm going to do. Okay. Yes, that was right. Regurgitate. All right. So this is the word when you throw up. This is a nice way of saying throw up. You regurgitate. The animals regurgitate. So very communal animals, super sweet, really precious. Lots of, you see how they woke each other. You saw how they woke each other up. Little, and everyone greets everyone. There's all this mass sort of like, hello, we're awake again. We're happy to see you again. Just like when what your dog does when you come home, and like, oh, look, there you are. And so they all wake up, they get together, and then they start hunting. And these guys are ferocious hunters. They get together and they go in a line, and then all of a sudden they spread out and they just attack whatever it is that they find. And because they are communal, it's not like a lion that will just eat it and take it and it's mine. They share everything with each other. So it ends up being where then when they find something, they have a lot of blood on their mouth, and they show it to everyone so that they know that there has been a kill. Come and eat something. And like I said earlier, with the if they have one of the dogs stay behind, they come back and they feed the pups. They feed the animal that stayed behind. And so it's a very communal society. Let me see if I have other things. And they surely got a higher hunting rate, don't they? That's one of my questions for you. What do you think is their hunting rate? Give me a percentage from 1% to 100%. What do you think is the hunting rate for wild dogs? Thank you, Carmen, for the nice segue. What do you think? How good are wild dogs at hunting? What can you tell me? And I will tell you, while you're guessing, I'll tell you a couple of other things about them. Let's see, they stay in one pack. We've got answers coming in 90%, 80%, 70%. There are only 6,000 of these dogs left in the wild. So I am really grateful that I got to see about 20 of them. Very cool. Unique call. They're fast runners. They can run up to 60 kilometers per hour. 90%, 80, 70, and 50. Cows regurgitate as well. They have two parts of the stomach, quick chew, and the second be better masticated. Exactly. So 80%, thanks for Nada for sharing that. So the answer is they are 80% effective in hunting. So for example, and we saw a kill and it was so we followed. So when you go on safari, sometimes in some places you can go off-road, in some places you can't. And in the place that we were able to go off-road so we could follow them. Let me see if I have another video I can share. I wanted to do something with this. I probably won't, so I'd rather share this with you now, just in case, because it's so incredible, these animals. So they just run, they scatter, they find what they do, and then they run. And then a hyena came into play. I don't know if I have a video of the hyena. Let me see. And a hyena came, stole what they had killed, and they don't care. They have such a high success rate in killing, whatever, moving on. They don't want to waste their energy on trying to. So this is them. This is them about to spread out into the forest. I don't know if you can see that so well. I need to make this bigger. Anyway, so they're all spreading out. I don't know what, let me just try to go a little closer. Looking around to try to see what they can find. But a hyena came, stole it. That's the wild dog. So hyenas have smaller ears. They have more spots. These guys have dots. These have more spots. You see like big patches. I think the tails are different, but they do have a lot of similarities, I find. That's what happened when you work as a team. Exactly right. It's a perfect example. And I think their faces look a little German Shepherd-like somehow to me. So you can see all these guys wagging their tails, like, where are we going to go? Let's go this way. They're so impressive and so precious. I don't know. And so anyway, we saw this. We were following them. We didn't see them get the first kill, but we just saw one of the dogs with blood on its mouth, and we tried to follow the rest of them. And then our car got stuck, all right? And our truck, that is. Let me try to get the picture. And we were stuck in the middle of, the savannah or the Okavanga, whatever. And here it was. We were stuck. And this was the night of the bloodworm moon. Let me make this bigger for you. We were stuck in this area, and you have to imagine there were wild dogs running around. There were hyenas running around, and we had to get out of the car so they could try to jack the car up, so to boost it up, to lift it up, so that they could try to get it to put a stick under it to get out of a hole, out of a ditch. And we're standing there, and there are all these wild dogs and all of these hyenas running around. Peter was behind the car trying to fix the jack, and he looked up, and there was a hyena that was just looking at him in the face, like looking at him. He was looking at the hyena. And it was just, it sounds so, yeah. We were like, oh my gosh, we are going to become the next prey. So it seems that we are not actually very interesting for whatever reason to scavengers anyway. Hyenas don't usually attack anything. They wait for things to die, to be killed, and then they take it. But it was such a scary thing. And our our tracker, he was trying to prepare the evening sundowner, and I was just like, no, I think I'll just have water. And he's breaking out food, you know, and it's like biltong, which is like the dried meat. I'm like, why are you bringing this food out? That's crazy. Anyway, we were there for a long time until we had another car come and get us out of there. But it was scary. It was really, really scary. But running around, wild dogs, you know, and then we saw like zebra in the horizon and everything. So it's a story to tell, story we survived, and yeah. How long did you wait? I think it was like 30 minutes, something like that, at least 30 minutes. We were first in the car, and then we tried to fix the car, so we had to get out of the car for them to try to fix it. They realized that it couldn't be fixed. The sun was going down, that big, beautiful moon was coming out, and I was like, oh my word, I don't know where this is going. But yeah, we weren't attacked. Very scary. I've never experienced anything like that before. Ever, never. But here we are. Everything is good. Another last thing about the wild dogs that I think is a really interesting thing to point out, because it shows how nature somehow has a divine plan, is that they're in the pack of wild dogs. There's an alpha male and an alpha female. It was such an amazing trip, Karina. It really was. It was an alpha male and an alpha female. And they are the only ones that are allowed to mate. So the alpha female is so horrible and causes so much terror to all of the other female dogs that they are not able to get their menstrual cycle. I don't know what it's called in animal world, but they are not able to mate. They're not allowed to go into heat. I think that's it. They're not allowed to go into heat, or their bodies physically don't go into heat because they're in constant stress. And at first that sounds really cruel and horrible until you learn that wild dogs, with their 80% success rate in hunting, they give birth to 14 puppies. So imagine if you have every one of those dogs, like this group of 18, let's say there's 9 females, and all of those females get pregnant and give birth to 14 puppies. What is that going to do? They will have no food in like several years. So it shows you again how Mother Nature has this sort of divine plan, I find. I wouldn't have survived more than 2 minutes without going crazy. Yeah, I think I was okay because our guides were kosher with it. They were cool with it. So I didn't feel like I needed to freak out about it. But I would never have done that on my own. And I still would never feel comfortable, you know, getting out of that car. No way. We had some interesting comments. I wanted to look something up. There was an animal, something I think with an L, a liacona. Lorena, you had this. I want to see what that is. A liacona. Take a look really quickly and try to find that. I think that was an endangered animal. Let's see. That's a hyena. Okay. Yes. So let me show a good picture of a hyena so you can see the difference. So a hyena, their ears are much more rounded. And let me see. Oh, no, that's a wild dog. Or what is that? I don't know. I'm confused. Hold on. Liacona pictus. I'm not sure. Is that a hyena or a wild dog? See, I don't even get them correct. The ranger didn't have a rifle. No, our ranger did not have a rifle. They don't find it necessary. I find that crazy. 14 puppies. 14 puppies. Yes, this looks like a wild dog. This doesn't look like a hyena. But it looks a little bit different to what we saw. I think that's a wild dog. Help me out, Lorena, please. Anyway, so moving on. If anybody has a question I've missed, or you have a question in general, please feel free to ask. Most definitely, please, please, please. Then let's see. All right, then a totally different animal. This is Leocon is a wild dog. Yes, okay, thank you. Yeah, because the back is straight. The ears threw me off a little bit, and the spots on it. I think this was from what I found was from Namibia, so maybe they look a little different. So let's see. So next one is a little small animal, but you know, small is also nice. So this guy with my bad looking fingernails, so just ignore that please. But here is, oops, this is part of the little five. They have the big five, the little five, and this is a leopard tortoise, a leopard tortoise. And I'll show you another picture. I got to pick them up. And when they get scared, they pee. So this little guy, he peed a little bit. Lacon is a wild dog. So this is a leopard tortoise. Do you know anything about leopard tortoises? And we saw another little one. We saw very sweet little turtle. It was like this big, paddling around in this little puddle. It was so sweet. But this one, pretty big, very slow. And a leopard tortoise, little couple of facts about our leopard tortoise. Each shell is unique. They have distinctive patterns, beautiful patterns. A turtle lives on land. A tortoise lives on land. Turtle can do land and water. I think that's correct, yeah. You find these guys in southern and eastern Africa. They move very slowly. They can live from 50 to 100 years, I guess if they don't get eaten. And another thing, another one that I would share with you right quickly, this is also something that you don't see very often in all of the game drives. Let me see again. Oh, sure. Thank you. Let me think this is, you know, I think I have a better picture than this, Yuki. Let me see if I can find it here. In all of the game drives that we've ever done, I've never seen this next animal. You hear about it, but it's not one that's very common. So I was really excited to see this one. And I have to show you a video of this cheeky monkey. Sorry, I would share everything with y'all. So Peter took this one. It makes it look like he's huge. But that is the leopard tortoise. Leopard tortoise. And I can show you his shell again, which is so beautiful. Such a piece of art. Another fashionista, Yuki. Look at that. All right, so moving on to our next one. This one you only see at night typically because they are nocturnal and they are in the cat family. And this, I have the same picture twice. So weird. Anyway, this is a wild cat. So just like our domesticated cat, this one comes, this is the original cat. Peter takes really good pictures. He does. That's why I just point to things and say, take a photo of that, please. Because I know it will turn out nice. I will tell him, actually, I'm going to screenshot your comment so I can tell him. So anyway, so this is a wild cat, and I had never seen one in real life. And it was so sweet. It just stared at us and didn't move. And it was just hanging out there, watching everything. It was really cool. And a couple of things about wild cats, just to kind of give you an idea. So they're about the same size as our cats, but they have longer legs. They're nocturnal. Like I said, they hunt at night. They are thought to have been domesticated around 10,000 years ago when humans began to settle and have farms. So this is the ancestor to the link to our domesticated cat. And they are solitary creatures. They don't like being around other ones, but which is weird because we saw that cat and then like maybe 3 minutes later, we spotted another one. So it was very interesting to be able to see two of them in basically one spot. Moving on right quickly, we have giraffes, just to kind of give you an idea, and leopards, and that's pretty much it. So we're almost done here with our lesson, and here is giraffes. Here's a little nice video with giraffes. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so again, another Peter, well done video. So here are giraffes, and anything, Peter's such a good photographer. He is, he's amazing. So, except he takes the worst photos ever of me. I hate it when he takes pictures of me. Anyway, so these are our giraffes. Anything that you know about giraffes, please share. Yeah, let me know anything that you know. How can you tell if it's male or female? Anything that you can tell me, go for it. Such graceful creatures. And like I said, in this area, you can see that one. Oh, Peter, go to the right, go to the right. Because in this area, there were a lot of giraffes that ate the flowers, these little yellow flowers on the ground. And it's highly unusual to see giraffes eat from the ground. So that was a very interesting sighting to see. A couple of things I can tell you. I know we can't beat nature's art. I will take the job of taking good pictures for you. Oh, yes, please do. It won't be him. He waits until I look like the worst, and then he's like, I love this photo of you. I'm like, what? No. Anyway, it's the tallest land animal, 18 feet, 5 to 5.5 meters tall. That's the male, and the female is 4.3 meters tall. And they have these birds on them called oxpeckers. So do the hippos, so do the buffalo, so do lions sometimes, rarely. But you have these animals, and they pick the little parasites and the bugs off of them and eat them. I love giraffes. They look so calm. Giraffe has dark patches on the body. Exactly. So these oxpeckers, this is a type of bird. It eats the parasites, and sometimes it annoys the oxpeckers. That's the type of bird, and it eats all of the parasites, and so it frees the giraffe of that. We saw it actually like combing the hair, the mane of the different giraffes, and you could just see it go through it and find everything that might be on it. They run very fast. I've never seen them run. Giraffes spread their front legs apart to be able to reach to get to the ground closer. Yeah, that looks so sweet, right? They have incredible vision. They can see up to 2 miles away, so that helps them to spot predators very easily. They're very gentle. And what else have we got? They only sleep 4.5 hours a day. So, and it's usually standing. That sounds so exhausting. And this is cool. So when giraffes are together, the group of giraffes is called a tower. So when they're standing together and they're grazing and eating and standing around, then they are called a tower. But when the same group walks together, it's called a journey. I thought that was kind of funny. The name changes when they start to walk. Thank you for a lovely lesson. See you soon. Bye, Michaela, darling. Thank you for your time, sweetie. Their long necks help them reach leaves high up in the trees. Exactly. All right. I cannot believe it's 2. I'm so sorry, guys. One more. Beautiful beast. Hold on. Let me share this with you. Let's see. Hold on. They use their necks when fighting. Yeah, it's very brutal. It's interesting to see. That's true. And the male, to be able to tell the male and the female apart, the males have a little bump on their head and on their antlers. I guess that's what that is there. I'm not sure. Oh. Whenever I want to do this, that never works. Anyway, so antlers, so the tip of the antlers, I guess that's what it's called, is bald. It means it doesn't have hair, and the females have really furry tips to these things on their head. Yeah. So that was one thing. Oops, sorry. I wanted to show you the leopards. Beautiful, beautiful leopards. And there's so many other things I've not shared with you, but at some point we're 2 hours in. Anyway, let me go back here. And this is more Peter photography here. Well, let me go back. All right. This shows you also how close these animals are. It's so incredible. See it kind of creeping through the long grass. And then look how close it comes. It's just right there. And he was spraying his scent everywhere. So he like lifts his tail and he sprays his scent to mark his territory. It was so incredible how close that was. And we watched this one guy, one leopard hunt, and it was so incredible because the sun was starting to go down, and he was creeping like this, marking his territory here and there, and then he spotted something, and we saw him go into the bush. So close, right? And we saw him go into the bush, so we followed him because we could go off-road there as well. And we sat and waited because there were two impala over here, and we were just watching him, and you could see him just kind of like every once in a while the grass would move a little bit, and then you would see, and then it would just stop, and there was total silence. And the impala, the whole time their ears were going crazy, trying to like spot if there's anything around, and they did not sense him at all. And so he was waiting, and then like a little bit closer, stop. You'd see the impala look up, look in his direction, not see anything, and start grazing again. And then two things I can't pronounce, two antelope of some sort, two huge ones came walking right here, right past him. They didn't see him. They didn't sense him. He could have gotten them, but he didn't. He waited. And he had his eye on the impala. In our car, we were very cruel. And is it going to be impala A or impala B that's going to go down? But leopards, similar to lions, don't have the greatest success rate, not like dogs, not like wild dogs. And so the impala at some point caught wind, which is a nice idiom for meaning that they realized they caught wind, that there was a leopard or a prey nearby. Because they have sense, they can smell. Sometimes if the wind goes the right way, or they see something, or there's a bird that might make an alarm, and they sensed it. And when the impala sense danger, they make this weird sound. I should try to find that. They make a weird sound, and that alerts all the other impala to get the hell out of there. And so then the leopard knew he had been spotted. Super cool thing I had never heard is that hold on, let me find this. The tip of a leopard's tail is white. So when the leopard realizes that it's been spotted, it will put its tail up over the grass and, like a white flag, wave it around and then go, okay, you're fine. I'm not going to eat you this time, and walk away. So the tip of the tail has two functions. I learned that it's to say, okay, fine, peace, I'm not going to go after you. And it's also for when they have little ones, that the little ones can see their mom's tail up high and follow properly. But I actually loved this. Everyone in our car was very disappointed, but I thought it was a beautiful story. Just watching this creature trying to hunt, trying to get its prey, and waiting, and then not being successful. And then this like, okay, fine, not going to happen today. And you weren't scared. Unbelievable how close he was. Yes, I was scared. It's so interesting that he wouldn't think of the car as like a lunch buffet. I know, right? Seriously. I mean, we were a smorgasbord for him, a little bit of everything. So yeah, no, they don't really care somehow. Other things about leopards, let me see. They drag their prey into the tree, which I have a video for you to share with you. We saw lots and lots of leopards. It was very interesting because, again, this is one of those animals where when, excuse me, when they have a kill, or when they're part of a pride. I guess it's a pride of lions, or leopards, I'm not sure, I have to look and see. But they, at some point, the males get kicked out. And what is a group of? And so they have to go on their own. And so these two brothers were together still. And you could tell because they were fighting each other, and there was this dominance thing. So the two of them were in the tree, and they were fighting over who gets to have the prey. And then one of them got kicked out and had to leave the tree. And the other one was just watching him the whole time. And like every time he would come near the trees. And so you could see that this was probably, they're about to go their separate ways, because even as brothers, they can't stay together for too long because they're too dominant and they want everything for themselves. So what is a group of leopards called? Let's see what you have to say. Yeah, so I think I have another video, and then slowly but surely we will say goodbye. I swear, I cannot believe we've been here for 2 hours and 10 minutes. But then again, yes. And they hang out in the trees like this. It looks so cute. Their little legs dangling down like that. And he's full. You can see his kill. I will, for those of you who are sensitive, you saw it. But so it's there. But look at how full his belly is. You can tell that he's had a lot to eat, and his little legs are dangling there, and he's just watching it. This might have been the one. Bye. I can't participate because I have time in Azan Maghrib related to Cairo time. Have a nice evening. My bedtime. Saying goodbye to y'all too slowly. Leopard is solitary. Exactly. And shy. Exactly. So, yeah, that's it. So, folks, thank you so much for hanging out with me for 2 hours and 17 minutes. I think this is the longest live stream. One of them at least. But thank you so much. I've had so much fun sharing our adventure with you. And so if you liked this video, if you had fun, please do like it. That helps the algorithm realize that this is not junk food. So please do so. Thank you so very, very much for your time. I appreciate it very much being able to share this with you and to have your participation. I hope it was not like a boring slideshow that you have at your grandma's house. So yeah, have a wonderful evening. Danke, bitte. Good night. Goodbye. Good night, Yuki. Bye-bye, Mohammed. Bye, everyone. Thank you for sharing photos and videos. It was great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Take care, everyone, and see you next Tuesday. Take care. Bye, Karina. Bye, Renata. Viona. Oh, love. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Alessio.